Welcome to the Blossom Mindset, the path to blossoming into your fullest potential through everyday actions. I am your host, Lindsay, a behavior analyst, certified clinical trauma specialist, author, and entrepreneur. My passion is helping people create meaningful, positive change. Using a behavior analytic approach, I guide individuals to uncover their values, build self-awareness, and take intentional steps towards their goals and building their skill set. This podcast reminds you that you don't have to face life's challenges alone and is here to help you take the first steps towards meaningful change by increasing self-awareness and shifting your mindset with support and no judgment. Together, we'll explore topics like identifying your values, setting realistic goals, and learning practical tools to increase mindfulness and shift your mindset towards a more meaningful life. With guest speakers and actionable strategies, each episode helps you break through internal and external barriers, offering easy steps to create a life aligned with what matters most. This is the Blossom Mindset Podcast, your path to blossoming into your fullest potential, one action at a time. Let's get started. This is a friendly reminder that the information shared on the Blossom Mindset is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a one-size-fits-all approach and is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Remember, this is not a therapy session and is simply for educational purposes and serves as an additional resource for you. Your well-being is important to us, and reaching out for the right support is a vital step in your journey. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Blossom Mindset. I'm Lindsay, and today we're talking about something unavoidable, which is the unexpected. Even with clear intentions and supportive routines, life will interrupt us. Plans change, emotions spike, chaos shows up. Today's episode is about learning how to shift without losing yourself when things don't go as planned. I don't know about you, but my new year has been off to a chaotic start, a very unexpected start. I wasn't actually expecting to do this topic tonight on the podcast. However, I thought, why not? Everything has been so unexpected so far. I think it's a very important topic to delve into, even today. I had 2 episodes planned to pre-record tonight, and this was not one of them. But throughout the day-to-day, everything has just been very unexpected. My plans have changed, things have come up, chaos has started, and nothing has gone as planned, so why not dive into the unexpected? So, why the unexpected can feel so hard is that our nervous systems crave predictability. So, when something happens, that trigger, it can trigger anxiety, frustration, or a freeze response. It may trigger the fight or flight response as well. I know for me, when chaos happens, I go into that flight response. My body is very dysregulated. I don't always know what to do. I feel like I'm just running on a motor, especially when my plans change or don't go as expected. Now, over time, I've learned how to regulate my system so it doesn't go into as deep a fight or flight. However, it can still go into those modes when it gets triggered because our nervous systems crave that predictability. It needs to know what to expect. So when the unexpected happens, it doesn't always know what to do, and we have to be able to regulate to then critically think through the situation. It doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It means that your nervous system is responding to the uncertainty, the chaos, the plan change, the emotion spike. That's what your nervous system is responding to because at that point, the unexpected is most likely out of our control. So when we're triggered, it triggers our nervous system, and our nervous system responds, not always in a way that's helpful. We have to learn how to regulate our nervous system to get it to responding in a way that is more helpful. And our goal shouldn't be to eliminate the discomfort. Growth can come from learning how to sit with the discomfort. Our goal is to respond with awareness and care. For me, again, everything has been so unexpected. Honestly, from New Year's Day, my entire January has been turned upside down. I went into the new year having a more solid plan after resting and recovering from year's end, and my plan has not gone anywhere near I expected. And my nervous system has been dysregulated. I've had to learn to go with the flow, embrace the flexibility, and still move forward with intention. I could totally just give up and stop doing what I need to do. However, I can't. Like, life doesn't work that way, and I don't want to. I don't want to give up. I don't want to let this chaos disrupt my life completely. I'm having to shift and navigate. Dealing with a family emergency right off the bat this year was very, very tough. That is something that has completely disrupted the first couple weeks of the new year, and it wasn't easy to navigate. It is not something that I planned. It was not something that would have ever have been expected. And learning how to shift quite immediately in those moments is important. And even though your body and your nervous system can go into that fight or flight, learning how to regulate enough to be able to critically think and take forward action is what is going to help you navigate through those unexpected times. And it comes back to that self awareness and that intentional care for yourself. We have to be aware of what our bodies needs and how to regulate that system when it gets triggered so that we can cope with the unexpected. It's a lot of times out of our control. So, when we talk about control versus flexibility, the control is what tries to force the outcomes. That is, it must happen. This is my plan. It has to be this way. That is that control. But that flexibility focuses on values and response. Rigid plans often break under pressure, but the flexible intentions are going to adapt. Instead of asking, how do I fix this? It didn't go as planned and giving up. Try asking, what matters most right now in this moment? Thinking about going back to that family emergency, the unexpected that happened. What mattered most in that moment was getting to my family. It was very, very tough, and I made it happen. No questions asked. I was right there when it needed to happen. I took every actionable step that I possibly could have to make sure everything was in place, even though my business mattered, right? But in the moment, the family had to outweigh that. I chose that as that value, and it didn't mean the business crumbled. Everything was still intact. I was able to come back, reestablish, and get started with the new year. It was just a few days late. I put a lot on pause, and that's that flexibility. I know that I have a to do list very long of different things that I need to get done for the business and that I want to get done for the business, but I had to be flexible, let go of some control, and figure out what was in my control to be able to create that plan and navigate through that unexpected time. During those unexpected times, again, our nervous system is going to be most likely triggered, especially if it's very unexpected or if you're someone who just really struggles with change. And I know that used to be me for a very long time. Change was very hard. Dealing with something that was unexpected or threw my schedule off was very hard. So, learning supportive tools can help when things are feeling overwhelming or when you know that that is one of your triggers. Looking at what are those supportive tools that you can put in place to help you regulate, navigate, and have some flexibility in those moments. So, regulating the nervous system can be pausing before reacting. Instead of immediately going into reaction, noticing that your body is triggered, pausing to ground back through the body's breath or sensory awareness, naming what's happened without judgment. My schedule got thrown off. That bothers me. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Naming what's happening, understanding the reactions that are happening in your body, and then shrinking the moment by focusing on only the next supportive steps, right? I couldn't focus on the outcome. I could only focus on what are the next supportive steps I had to take. And for me in those moments, it was rescheduling my sessions that were upcoming. It was figuring out what to do with my dog and cat. They couldn't come with me. It was focusing on how am I going to get there and taking those next steps to support my nervous system instead of feeling like this is so overwhelming, I don't know what to do, and you give up when something like that or unexpected happens. Because if our body goes into complete shutdown, then you're not taking those steps forward to try and support yourself in those times and navigating through that chaos. And you don't need to solve everything. You just need to be present in that moment with what you need. Ground into yourself, ground into your body, increase that body awareness, and pause. Take that deep breath and write out, if needed, those next steps that you can take to move forward. And that may shift. It may not be an emergency, it may just be life is chaotic. Something got thrown at you that you weren't expecting. Something shifted, something changed. Life can be chaos, and it's not always something we can control. So, learning how to navigate it with that flexibility, grounding into yourself, and supporting your nervous system can help you feel less overwhelmed when that chaos is starting or when it's happened. And remember, shifting your plan is not the same as quitting. It doesn't mean you're giving up, right? If we look back at all that happened within the first couple of days of the new year, if I had any goals that I had set in place, which I did, there was a couple of those days that I planned to catch up, get ahead with certain things, um, start different programming, start building this community group for the Blossom Mindset that I really am in the process of building. And I had to shift that plan. It doesn't mean I'm quitting those projects. It means I had to be flexible and I can come back to it. And even going back into our last episode of consistency, we have to be consistent with our habits, and chaos is going to happen. Just because maybe there's a day that you have to shift, it doesn't mean you're quitting. It doesn't mean you've given up on those habits or that you're not being consistent. It means you're being flexible and changing the pace, direction, or expectation while still aligning with your values. Sometimes we have to choose different things in the moment of chaos that may compromise other values. Again, one value may outweigh others in a given moment, and it doesn't mean you don't value the other things. It means you have to, or you are being flexible and pouring into a different area and choosing something different. Two things can be true at the same time, right? I can value the family and the chaos and, well, I guess not value the chaos, but I can value family and having to change my course, and I can still value my business and growth at the same time in my own mental health. um, One thing you can say to yourself to gently soothe yourself is, this isn't what I planned, and I can still choose how I respond. You may get triggered. You may not be able to control at first the reaction of your nervous system in those moments of being triggered. However, you can choose how you respond to that chaos. Are you going to allow the chaos to overcome you, the unexpected situation, let that get the best of you? Or are you going to ground and choose valuable actions and values aligned actions as you're responding to it? So, this week, if something unexpected happens, or the next time something unexpected happens, I encourage you to pause and ask yourself, what would it look like to respond from my values instead of fear? What would it look like if I pause, regulate, and ground my nervous system before I respond and react, instead of allowing the chaos or the unexpected situation to get the best of me? So choose one small response rooted in care for yourself, self compassion, and not urgency. Again, in those moments of uncertainty or things that are unexpected or chaotic, our system will go into or could go into fight or flight mode. And maybe you start to react out of that urgency. I encourage you to choose one response that you can help ground yourself first before you start reacting. And you don't need to be calm all the time to move forward. It's not saying that to respond means you have to be calm. You can be triggered and feel different feelings that maybe you think are a little bit more negative, and still move forward. Being regulated doesn't mean being calm. It means that you have the control over your nervous system versus your nervous system having control over you. You are effectively responding to the emotions instead of the emotions acting in a way that doesn't align with your values. Flexibility, compassion, and intention can carry you through those times of uncertainty. So I want you to remember that as you carry forward in life, and hopefully the next time you encounter any uncertainty or it's something unexpected. It could be something simple that's unexpected too. Maybe you didn't expect the car to pull out in front of you and they did, right? That might still trigger your nervous system. It doesn't have to be some grand chaotic situation. Chaos is happening all around us all the time, and unexpected things are happening all the time. So, learning how to embrace the flexibility, have some self compassion, and intentionally controlling your nervous system or taking action over your nervous system to move you forward instead of allowing it to get the best of you and you completely shutting down. I know life can be challenging. You've got this. We'll talk more about different strategies to help regulate the nervous system in future episodes. And in the next episode, we'll slow things down a little bit and talk about the power of reflection and how looking back can help guide us into what comes next. And I know we talked a little bit about that a few episodes ago with reflecting on the past year. And I really want to look now into how that reflection can help guide us in that forward direction. Now, we don't want to focus too much on the past or the future, but we can use that to help guide us in the moment as well. So until next time, keep navigating life, keep working through the chaos, embrace the unexpected, and move forward with flexibility, compassion, and intention. Until next time, keep blossoming. Thank you for joining in on this episode of The Blossom Mindset with me. I hope that our discussion has inspired you to take actionable steps towards blossoming into your fullest potential. Don't forget, the best way to show your support is by liking, sharing, and leaving a 5-star review on this podcast. Feel free to drop any ideas for future podcast topics by commenting on my most recent Instagram post of this episode. If you are interested in additional resources or one-to-one coaching, check out our website linked in the show notes. I am so proud of you. By tuning in and listening, you just took one small, actionable step forward towards blossoming into your fullest potential.